Welcome back, YouTube. We are back with another video, and today we got another good one. This one is from Jubilee. They are awesome at the content they create. They are really good about putting what is perceived as two opposite ends of the spectrum in the same room to have a conversation about a topic. So you know us, we got to react to it. This one is called "Do All Feminists Think the Same?" I'm gonna tell you right now, I guarantee they don't, because every time I see any videos with any feminists trying to debate things, they debate things that are supposed to be like universal facts that feminists believe, but they're always all over the place. They always believe two different things, and a lot of them don't seem to even understand what being a feminist is, honestly, because we'll just get into it. Let's just get into it, guys. We'll talk about it in a second.
Hey. And also, and now.
Right, so for you, it is the ability to create life, and that's basically what makes you a woman.
Femininity and womanhood is so much more than just, getting dressed up and putting on makeup and just the way I feel. It's who I am on a biological level.
Men can be feminist. 3, 2, 1, go.
I mean, I'm wearing a hoodie that says men can be feminists too. I feel like I have to be over here.
I think most men that are feminists are usually either lazy, virtue signaling, just want to see tits, or access to easy sex.
I think
That is a good point. When I see they call them white knights or whatever. It's like guys that aren't really feminists or don't really care what the woman is trying to fight for. Really, they just want to kind of sneak in as that friend. So when you let your guard down, he's the first one that can scoop up the sex. Now, there are a lot of guys who are actual feminists, like myself and guys like Kevin Samuels. People joke about it, but honestly, feminism was originally about choice, and I am a strong proponent of that. If I have a daughter, I want her to be able to choose what she wants to do in her life. My wife has that same option to be able to choose if she wants to be career driven or whatever it may be. That's a woman's choice. And also, outside of the confines of a marriage, if a woman chooses to have the child or not, I mean, that's her choice. You can't force her to have one. So there's a lot of other conversations around that one, but that's why I said outside of the confines of a relationship, if a woman gets pregnant and she wants to make her own decision, I'm a strong believer in that. But it's like, it does seem like a lot of guys will only use the term feminist in order to scoop up easy sex. That's just being honest. Let's continue though.
I think it depends on your definition of feminism. Like modern day feminism, I would say yes. Like traditional feminism, like advocating for, traditional femininity and non-discrimination in the workplace. I think those things men can agree with.
I see what you're saying when you're like, there's this performative feminism that a lot of guys do. So if a male feminist is like, oh, I only support women, and it's just only about that, but he's not even talking about how feminism needs to support men or trans people or whatever.
Here we go. Why does the trans movement always seep into everything? I mean, from Black Lives Matter to feminists to it's like the trans movement has has roots into everything. It's like anytime someone has a movement going on about discrimination, here comes trans coming in. Oh, we're discriminated against. And I'm just like, come on, we completely understand that a lot of trans people go through certain things, but when I look out into the world, I don't see nobody disrespecting trans people. I don't see nobody picking on trans people. I mean, it honestly seems like most of their blights that they have issues with really just comes from and I'm just gonna be blunt here, but a lot of them happen to be white men that transitioned into white women, and God forbid a white person feels discriminated against. Hey, I'm just being honest. Let's continue though.
Then there is a performativeness to it.
White feminist voices are too loud. 3, 2, 1, go.
I somewhat agree, like that white feminist voices are too loud, but then I think that they become really good at using black women or black faces when they want to, push their movement further.
I
I'm gonna pause it right there because that is something that I definitely have noticed that so many systems tend to use black women's fierceness and their willingness to fight. To be honest, black women are very willing to fight for whatever they believe in, and that's not a bad thing. But it seems like everybody besides black women are actually at the head of why they're fighting for something. It goes from women are originally fighting for equality and to be able to vote and to be able to have choice, but now that they have it, they really don't have much to truly fight about or fight for. So then I think that's how the trans community and all these Zim, all the non-binary stuff kind of gets looped into feminism. And it's like, feminists, honestly, if they really look at it, it seems like a lot of it is just kind of like looking for things to fight about. And it definitely feels like they're using black women as the spearhead for whatever they're trying to fight. Let's continue though.
I agree that it's probably not balanced, and I think it probably needs to be more equal. I guess the reason why I'm at somewhat disagree is just because I'm hesitant to say that anyone speaking up for their views is too loud.
I think that's fine, and I can definitely see what you're saying. I just hate when some of these movements use black women when it's convenient for them.
There's not discussion about the Latinas immigrant, how they're get treated on the feminist movement. It's always about either the pro-choice side or something else that it's more interesting to white.
When you think of feminism, you usually think of a white lady. And I think that's still perpetuated, even though there'd be a lot of black women behind the scenes doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and often are in a lot of civil rights movements. White women have certain rights they need through feminism as other people, but they're just always taken more seriously by everyone.
I'll read off a list of public figures and you'll go to your left if you believe the person to be a feminist, or the right if you don't think they're a feminist. Kim Kardashian.
I wouldn't say that she isn't a feminist. I don't think that's her number one thing.
She went from doing her show and the whole sex scandal thing to now she's working in law and civil rights, and she's done the whole family thing. Ultimately, I think that Kim Kardashian is a woman that has done what she's wanted to do.
All right. Based on their answers, it seems like they want to claim any woman who is successful or sexually liberated as a feminist. That it's like they want to claim that because they represent what they want feminism to be. So it's interesting the usage of Kim Kardashian, because honestly it seems like she's just a celebrity, not like someone who's she's done good for getting people out of jail and being a it's hard for me to say good role model, but being a role model for women and young girls. I don't know so much about when she first got into being as popular as she is, and people can always kind of look back and to see how she got to her fame. But it's I guess it's in today's time, people can even view porn stars and everything as a good role model. It's in this hyper sexualized era. Even women could start their career as a porn star as long as they make their flip. into motherhood and everything, then they can be viewed as a feminist or a good role model. That's interesting. No judgment, but that's interesting.
Amy Coney Barrett.
Amy Coney Barrett, in my opinion, is like the epitome of a feminist. She's literally like a Supreme Court justice in like the highest court of the land. And she totally disproves the narrative that women have to choose between having a career and a family.
I don't really agree with her a lot on her political stances, but I think more so as just being a role model for women to be on a level of the Supreme Court where it's primarily dominated by men.
J.K. Rowling.
3 years ago, I would have said yes, and there's still a lot of reasons I would. She was a single mom, she wrote all the books, she became a billionaire. The reason I would say kind of no now is her just kind of weird anti-trans zealotry she's gotten involved in that kind of undercuts a lot of her other feminist stuff.
I mean, I disagree that just for the fact that she expresses her own opinions, that now people like literally crucified her and really want to like put her under and undermine everything she has done, you know?
It's just she has such a big platform that when you're talking like this very extreme stuff about a marginalized group, that's really the issue.
Why should women like with a platform be forced to align with the mainstream narrative of what it means to be a woman and a feminist? Like, why can't her own personal journey be enough?
It really comes down to not that it's an opinion, it's that she's spreading a lot of dangerous misinformation.
But based on what though? Because you don't agree with it?
No, it's scientific facts. Like, she's just talking about stuff that's incorrect. And her
He's not saying exactly what she said, and I think that's why she's confused. But I think it goes to the point that I think people should just be allowed to have their traditional ideas. I'm not sure if she said anything about like harming trans people or anything like that, so I don't want to like defend her without actually knowing what she said. But just the simple fact that it does seem like every single time someone has an opinion that goes against being trans or calling cis women and trans women the same thing, and it seems like every time you do that, you're called crazy or a bigot or something like that. And I think that's a very dangerous playing field to get into if no one can have an open dialogue if it disagrees with homosexuality and trans. That's confusing that it's being looked at it as you're volatile or being violent towards them if you disagree with what they do. Let's continue though. We're about to get into a big part that I was really confused about, and this will probably be the last part that I cover. Everything else is kind of just talking.
Her ideas about trans men have affected legislation that harms trans men getting the resources they need.
Trans women are women. 3, 2, 1, go.
I think we're all just positioned here based on our political beliefs and as for how we see the LGBTQ.
I mean, I think it's also split between, all the men are on that side and all the women are on this side. I know, being a woman, that there are certain things that we have to deal with as women that people who are not, biologically women don't have to deal with. I mean, we have to deal with having our periods and go through that really awkward stage when we're 13, and people who are, trans women don't have to go through that.
Trans women live their entire lives as women. They don't turn it off. It's not something that they're turning off, and then to come up to them and say, "Oh yeah, I see you doing this, but you're not a woman." It's kind of insulting.
How do you live your life?
I gotta pause it right now before she flames him, but why does it always seem like every time they have like a conversation like this, they always have a black guy that does not speak like any black man that I have ever met? Because honestly, just like if you look at most black men are conservative. Most black men don't really go for the whole trans gay thing. I'm just being honest. There's nothing that we have against the trans and gay community, but it's just like, we know women are women. Most black men would not say a trans woman is a woman. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Most black men are not talking like that. So wherever they found this guy, he might be a secret agent or something to try to push an envelope to try to get black men that watch this video to agree with. But I find it a little strange that they can never seem to find a black man that was raised like most black men. They can never seem to find it.
As a woman, because every single time somebody says that, they name the most stereotypical things. It's like putting on a dress, putting on makeup.
Yes.
It's biological. I was
So
born
all
a
it is
woman.
is
I can't
biological.
be a man.
All it is just biological. Where did they find this guy? Where did they find this guy? This the most non-logical thinking black man I've ever seen in my life. He has all rights to think how he wants to, but come on, like who? Where is he from? Where is he from? I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked. Unless he is gay or he is like LGBTQ, then I can kind of understand it. But it's like almost like they're trying to frame him like he's a straight black man, and these are his views. A little strange to me. Secondly, why has the feminist movement? We're not really talking about choice in any of this, because feminism typically is about choice. Traditional feminism is about choice. We have really not talked about choice at all in this video. They have talked about trans women. Are trans women are women? Like, come on, why are we talking about trans? And why is it that trans women and trans people want to eliminate what a woman is? It's like none of them are saying, I don't hear trans women that turn into men trying to say, I'm a man. You know, I am everything that a man. I really don't hear that often. It's mostly men that transition into women that want to eliminate what being a woman truly is. Women have had to absorb the homosexuality movement. They've had to absorb the trans movement. They've had to absorb any movement where a man wants to act more feminine. And now women have to just agree with and accept a man who was born with genitalia of a male, in him eliminating that and transitioning, and they have to just accept him into the fray. That is just so unfair to natural born women. And it's just like I pray that things get straightened out, or at least some type of understanding for the sake of women, honestly, because for the sake of women's sports, just everything that is what it is to be a woman. It's like trans women are praised for acting like women, and then cis women are degraded for disagreeing that a trans woman can just change her mind that she's a woman and she's supposed to be exactly what that woman has had to go through in her entire life. Like she said, even just going through a menstrual cycle, that is something us as men don't understand. And then I can just say, oh, you know what? My name's Jamar, but I think I'm going to go as Jamila. I should be able to go into the women's bathroom. Like, come on. We're getting into a place that there are no rules. There are no rules. If we can just flip the switch and just say, you know what? I'm a woman now. I need to be able to go into that woman's locker room at my gym. I should be able to go, and I shouldn't have to transition in transition sexually and transition surgical wise. I should just be able to go in. Guys, we're getting into a dangerous playing field if we just keep saying how someone feels is who they are. It's a tough conversation, and I don't think none of these people deserve any hate for how they feel, but we have to get to a point that we just say, you know what, we're not going to let the smallest population of America dictate how the rest of America and how the rest of the Western hemisphere for that matter is going to operate. Tough conversations, guys, but I think I would leave it off on this note. If you guys want to watch the full video, I will link Jubilee's video down in the description box below. We only got to about half of the video, and I feel like there's a lot more good information in it, but I don't want to use up all of their content, so you guys can go watch it yourself. I appreciate you guys watching. If you want to check with me on Instagram or TikTok, that's just Jamar Anthony. If you want to holler at me on Twitch and watch me play some games like GTA, it is just SSJ Lando. Twitch.tv/SSJ Lando. Until next time, guys. Peace.
So